In this video, I'm taking the brand new A7V out in the field trying to find some birds to photograph. So I want to try out the 30 FPS continue shooting together with the pre-capture to hopefully catch some birds in action. So it's the darkest time of the year, making it a perfect challenge to test the camera in a less than ideal environment. We're talking 6 hours of daylight, and that daylight could just as well be called ISO 12800 because of these gray things in the sky. So as usual, grab some snacks and let's go out and find some birds.
Well, my good friends, the time has come. We have a new Sony camera. And oh boy, I'm excited. So the A7V is here in my hands in this frosty cold forest, and I am very excited to take it out and just try it out and see what I can find. And yeah, I don't know if you can hear, but I've been sick for a whole week. So I got this a couple of days ago, but I haven't been able to get out because of, now that I feel better, I managed to finally get out. But that means I don't have as much time with this camera as I wished. So that's a little bit of a bummer. I have to send this back. So we have to be able to try this out, we have to find something. And a November day in Sweden is probably the lowest odds of finding something good to photograph. It's the most boring month of the year, in my opinion. If we find a blue tit, I'm happy. That's really the reality of it. But there is supposed to be dippers in the stream that is going here, and I photographed dippers here last year, so hopefully we can manage to see that. Yeah, let's go. And so far I've been hearing grey tit and as well as blue tits. So I'm not really expecting much, to be honest. But it's always nice to just get out and expose yourself for nature. You never know what you stumble across, and that's the beauty of it. Oof. That is one beautiful perch. Imagine having a bird on this. Oi, oi, oi. Oh, I hear a bird. Oh, I can see them. Okay, that's nice. We're gonna camp here. What do we have here? Oh, it's a goldcrest. Look at that. Got a first bird. It's a cold tit. So lately I've been starting to bring a chair when I'm out. I've always been like lazy doing that. So I feel that it's kind of ups your patience a whole lot. That you can sit comfortably, and that makes you wait longer. And in the end makes you get more photos. Oh wait, there's actually quite a lot of birds here. So we have goldcrest, we have cold tit, and I also saw a entita or a talltita. I don't know, it's a March tit, I think. And the goldcrest is going up and down in this pine tree. So I'm definitely gonna camp here for a little bit. And sitting here with this view, I feel like waiting isn't the worst. got some beautiful portraits. This is very nice. It's the goldcrest. It's making its way down here. Come on. But they're so tricky to photograph. It's insane. They will never show themselves. Come on. It did perch pretty nicely for 2 seconds. It's okay for being a goldcrest because they're impossible to photograph. But I did get the March tit and that cold tit. They really posed, was beautiful. That was so nice. So it's so nice to finally have like a fast burst speed on an A7 camera, because honestly the A7 IV, it has 10 FPS and that is, it's okay, but it feels like Canon has offered like 40 FPS for such a long time. So 30 FPS is definitely nice, especially for small birds. But but the thing is, for this little session here, I've taken 850 photos. That is the downside of having pre-capture as well as 30 FPS, because you take basically 60 photos in 1 second. It's just a lot of photos. I don't know if you noticed on the camera here, but I shoot in JPEG, and that is a little bit of a bummer because I really want to try out like how the raw photos look. But the thing is, since this camera is not released, Lightroom doesn't have support for the raw files, and it's just a hazard going through like Imaging Edge to get the raw files. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I'm shooting everything in JPEG, unfortunately. But it is what it is. The JPEGs turn out great and sharp, but I really need to make sure I set the exposure and the white balance correctly, because it's not as an easy fix as it is with raw files. But I saved some memory. Like these 800 photos is it's not too bad now since it's JPEG. The activity died down here, so I'm gonna continue my walk. But that was really nice. We got to try out the camera finally, and all. This is the first thing I'm photographing with this camera. It's the first time I'm really pressing the shutter. I think this was a really cool passage or corridor, or what do you call it? Like, it's almost like a stone bridge, but it's not. So we have a little bit of water over there, and then we have the lake here. And then this little passage here. It looks pretty nice. This is very interesting. Look at this. Look at this dead tree here. And look at that little hole. That is a textbook example of a boreal owl nest. But it's probably gonna fall the next storm that's coming here. Jump scare or not? Huh. Interesting. So I feel design-wise of the camera, it feels very similar to the A7 IV, I think. It's a little bit, it does feel a little bit rounder as the A1 does. But otherwise it's very similar to the A7 IV. Which is nice. I enjoy that camera. So something that we need to appreciate with this camera is this. The new 4-axis screen thingy that we all know and love nowadays. That came on the A7R5 first, and then the A12 and the A9. So we finally have it on the A7 as well, which is very, very nice. So I find that the best strategy of photographing birds in the forest like this is simply to walk until you hear birds. Quite obvious maybe, but when you hear them, then you sit down and just wait and kind of study their behavior and where they usually land. And because they usually have this kind of rotation in where, especially the goldcrest, like they land on a certain tree and then they go like downwards and then they switch tree, do it again, and then it starts over again. So if you're ready, have studied the behavior, you can get some really nice shots. Let's continue.
So while I make my way through this forest looking for any signs of life, we'll teleport back home and try to photograph some birds in my backyard.
So I figured, since I have the A7 IV here, since I have the A7V here, I figured, since I only have this camera for a couple of days, I figured a safe bet to really guarantee some shots is here at home by my feeding station. I have this little feeder up in the forest here. So if you follow the channel, you probably know this, but I figure we're gonna move things around a little and find some nice sticks for them to sit on, move the feeder a little bit so we get some more light, so we can hopefully get some action shots, because that requires light. And because it's overcast, I decided to go with the 302.8 today. And I also want to see how the A7V performs with the 300. So I have this feeder, which I don't really use right now, because I have it up here, as you can see. The good thing with this spot is that there's a lot of trees around it, and it's also like in the forest, which means that we can get some cool species, such as like the crested tit or the coal tit. I can see a coal tit on the ground right here. So I'm thinking if we should just move this to that place. Perfect. So, this thing is not straight. Do not hire me for carpenter work or anything like that. But luckily the birds don't care. It looks garbage. Oh my god. Well, the scene is done. We have one feeder here, and I hope that they will perch here, like in between the different stations, because this stick is freaking awesome. Then we have the big feeding station right here, as well as this little mossy stick, and I've already seen them perch here, which does look very nice. And I also got this dead tree here, which looks pretty nice. I don't know if the camera noticed, but whoa, what happened with the clouds? The second I'm done here, I'm gonna start shooting. It is thick clouds, so it's the clock is 12. We at least have 3 hours left, but this is not good. Oh, finally. There's already a lot of action. So I'm waiting for a great tit to fly off. Come on. He He flew directly towards me. Well, there's nothing wrong with the autofocus. So you can see up here in the corner there's a little icon. That means I'm using the pre-capture was active. So I pressed the shutter when the bird was here. And all of these photos 1 second before he flew off. Oh, that is pretty cool. So I think one of the strongest upgrades on the A7V, in my opinion, is the blackout-free EVF. I've been using the A1 for a year now. When I go back to the A7 IV, that is really when I really appreciate the blackout-free EVF of the A1. Because you get this kind of lag when you're shooting with the A7 IV, which makes it very hard to track birds when they're flying, because there's a little bit of a delay. And with this and the A1, don't have any delay really. So you're seeing like a live view of what's happening, which is, it really makes a difference when you're trying to track something in the viewfinder. Come on, attach, fly. Fly. That's better. Did you see that? He flew by me. I don't know if this camera catch that, but oh my gosh. And he perched for a second over there, but the camera is obviously locked here. Oh my god. That was intense. Oh, it would be nice to get a shot of the sparrowhawk. Cute pose. Look at that. How cute.
thing I've been thinking of that I prefer with the A7 IV compared to like the A1 is that here, when I switch between video and photo, I simply do this and then I go to number 1 for 25 FPS, 2 for 50 FPS, and 3 for 120 FPS. You can see the settings change accordingly. So we have 200 and we have 100 and 1/50 depending on what you're shooting. On the A1, there's a button here that locks this wheel, which I do not like, because when you're standing here and maybe you're hiding, on this camera I can simply just do this and this. It's so quickly. But on the A1 you have to do this and then you have to go up with your hand like this and press to turn it, if that makes sense. If you're laying down hiding from a deer, you're not always able to like reach your hand up, because that makes you noticeable for deer. Maybe it's a very niche thing, but it's definitely more comfortable on the A7 cameras and quicker, which is sometimes very important. Or most of the times it's very important when you're shooting birds and wildlife to be quick. So soon we'll be back where the dippers might be, so I hope we can sit down and wait a little bit and hopefully see them. That would be nice. This looks insane. I'm gonna show you. Not the best shot, but we at least saw something. So the first bit of stream in sight, and I haven't seen a dipper yet, but there's a good sign of it, and that is it's a rock in the stream that has poop on it, and that is a good sign of a dipper. So he's on a beautiful moss perch. I don't know if you can see, but he's on that little branch in the water, as you can see, and we have beautiful reflection too. That's so nice. Beautiful. I need to get low, even lower. But we're a bit up from the stream, so I wonder if he doesn't seem to care, so that is very nice. Hej! Ja, strömstad är här efter. Hey. Well, that was quite nice. There were two gentlemen walking on this trail here, so that was what spooked it away. I managed to I saw that it was like looking for something
coming in this direction. So I thought like, okay, he's gonna fly away. So now I got to use the pre-capture feature. So I've set the AEL here to trigger pre-capture on and off. So I managed to get a shot when he was flying away, but yeah, this is a very dark section of this location. Like the water is pitch black, there's a lot of trees, the sun is behind this little hill here, so I need to use a very high ISO to keep a fast shutter speed here. I shot at 1/1600, but it's still too slow of a shutter speed to capture a dipper in flight. I like when I was standing up, I got the sunlit trees in the reflection of the shot, and it turned out really cool, to be honest. I think it looks better than laying down. So I managed to get a goldcrest in the small spruce trees there. It was too quick to film, but he was pretty close. It's probably the best goldcrest photo I have, because I don't have any good. So this is probably the most opened and posy I've had one in front of the camera. So that is very nice. I'm happy with that. But they are so fast. Again, it's freaking impossible to shoot. I probably took way too many photos now, and I can use like, yeah, when he was posing like that for a millisecond. Otherwise, they're like impossible to get. So that was nice. Hey yo. Oh, I'm heading back to the car. But I can hear a goldcrest again. There are a lot of goldcrests everywhere. They like these spruce trees, and if you just stand and wait, suddenly they show themselves for, as I said, a millisecond. I can see it. Okay, I'm actually gonna give this a little time, because this spruce tree is beautifully lit with soft light, so I think we can might get something if we spend some time here. And of course we're gonna use the share. Imagine if someone like walks by here and see me sitting on a chair like in the middle of this road staring into a spruce tree. You'd probably think I'm sick. Yes! I finally got a beautiful perch and a post that is not like an ass. Oh, that's so nice. And it's sharp too. Oh, look at the background. Like, I love how he's perching in front of this darker part of the tree, and then everything is like green and even got some reflection in the eye too. Thank you, little guy, for posing. Oh, that's nice. That was worth it. Must be the share. Get yourself a share if you don't have one. Like, sit down and wait. It's so worth it. Okay, so I just had to get out of the car because first, the light is insane. The sun is going down and we have some dramatic clouds. But I also see a great grey shrike. I think the English name is a varfågel, sitting as a little white lump on top of a little birch tree. It's a beautiful bird. Well, that's nice. Bye, shrike.
So my first adventure with the A7V is over for now. And I had a lot of fun with this camera. So winter doesn't give you much light to work with, but that's part of what makes days like this enjoyable. You slow down a bit, you appreciate the small moments and just see what you can create. And honestly, I think the camera held up pretty well out there. So if I get the chance to use it more, I might put together a more detailed video about it if that's something you want to see. So until next time, have a good one, and I will see you in the next video.